What's up, everybody? So I'm gonna do a tutorial for No Name Number 2. A couple of things is first, I'm in standard tuning, which I normally am not. I'm playing my nylon string. It really makes no difference. I just like playing the song on this, and I really love this guitar, so I just felt like playing it today. And the second thing is that I'm gonna teach two versions here. I'm gonna go through the one I normally would play, and I'll just go through the whole thing, and then I'll just do a second one in the end, and I'll just put like a thing, with the progress bar, so you can just like go straight to that one. Those chords are a little bit easier. I think it's it can be a little bit tricky to sing this song at the same time as playing it, because the way I play it, I'm playing the little like melody line along with the whole thing, and even tricky for me. I don't really sing this song that much, to be honest. I'm not very good at singing it, but it's still one of my favorite songs, so I really like playing it. But yeah, the second way is a little bit easier. So let me just play how I would play it through, like verse up to chorus or whatever. I'll just play through that and then I'll walk through it. So. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I kind of missed it. Anyways, that's like just the verse to chorus, and that's pretty much the entire song. Anyways, so let's break it down, right? So the first chord is just a regular C major, but the B has this third fret on the pinky. Okay, and you just strum. You're not playing the E bass in this, so now I kind of alternate between strumming the chord with my thumb, and then I'm actually picking. So I kind of start with, okay, so it goes, start on the third with the pinky, take it off, so you're on the first, and then you do this like hammer on and pull off, and then you go to this chord, which is second on the E and second on the G, and you do one strum, and then you do a open B first, open B, and then you do just the G. And the G chord that I play is just nothing fretted, right? It's just this one note, and I play it down to about the G, because I think that he doesn't really play like the high notes in this chord, because he has a bunch of different guitars when he's playing this. So there's like a guitar for doing the high end. So I think that if you just listen to his main guitar in the background, he's not really, doing any high strings. Maybe down to the B, I guess. But the B is the melody line. So the melody is always on the B. So you pick that, but the strumming I only go to. So really slowly it would be. And then I use this note to kind of lead into. It kind of like walks you into each chord. Like that. So that is the chorus / intro. And yeah, he repeats it. The structure of the song right here too. So the structure is, we do this intro and this chorus, and then we start this verse. So I'll do this verse chord. I'll explain. So it's an open E, okay, and then you're barring A and D with your pointer finger, and then your ring finger's on the G, and it's on the 4th fret, and then B is on the 5th fret, and then you're playing this E open. So it's. You kind of strum this whole thing. You you kind of are pressing the bass note, like, not every time. It's kind of like this, like bass, strum, bass. So, you know, like on the beat, right? And after two, you know, strums of it, or you two, like, I don't know what to call it, right? At this point, you would go, you walk up from E on the second and E on the third, and then you go to this chord, which is, so this chord, it's A on the second, D on the fourth, and then you're barring the G on the second, and then B on the fourth. And you're still playing that E open. Now, it's unfortunate in this version, you don't really get the bass note here, so normally he would be playing this bass note, right? But it's incredibly hard to bar from here all the way down to B and still have the E open. And the E is like the most important because you're playing the melody line, right? So this whole section, right, he's doing this. You can hear that E, that high E. So you're doing this like kind of chromatic walk, right, with the B string. So anyway, so you have this chord, right? So this is the first. Then you do the walk. And then after you get to that point, and for how I'm strumming this, I'm doing downstrokes with my thumb and then upstrokes with my pointer finger to accent that. You can kind of see here. So after this chord, the second one, you do the same G chord that we did before, which is no, you know, you're not fretting anything, but you're gonna fret the B string where you normally would on a G chord anyways, and you're just gonna, you want to accent that. I do it as a strum. It's just like a really fast passing chord. So I'll do it slow. Right? And then you land on an A7, okay? And you just do like one strum of it. So it's like, and you do an E major, and then after the E major, you walk up from the E to the G. So you do E second, E third, and then you go right back to the A7, and then you go back to this. Now, once you get to the second part, right, he does this. So how you do this little riff is, second time you get to the A7, he strums it once or twice. I'll try and sing it when I, you know, so I can kind of like give you an idea. But the way you do it is it's A7 is, you know, D on the second and B on the second, right? And then you go slide up to the fifth, the same shape, but you're on the fifth fret with both strings. And then you slide down to where the D is now on the fourth fret and B is on the third, and then back to the A7, right? But how do I play it? I think when I play it in the moment, let me see. So yeah, I think for the first drum, I highlight this high string again. And I kind of just do this like Travis style picking where I'm doing like where I'm just doing like a walk down or I'm not walk down, but I'm doing like middle index thumb, middle index thumb, right? It's like just a repeating pattern. You want just like kind of. Right. You just gotta kind of listen for it and feel it out, to be honest. And you could just strum it too. You don't need to. You don't need to do any of the picking. I just like to play it that way, but you could just strum it. Because the nice thing about it is the open notes don't clash with the chord. Right? right? They're all right, so you don't need to worry about muting anything. You just want to make sure when you're playing this chord, you don't play the low E or the A string, right? But when you get to the A7, you would play the A, right? Just do what you have to do, and then it would go back to. So, yeah, let me see if I can sing a little bit of that part just to show you how it would go into it, right? It would be like a strip of wet concrete. Her name was just a broken sound, a stutter, a step you hear when you're falling down. So that's kind of how, you know, you would go into it, right? I think maybe that's a little bit too fast, but. So anyways, the first chorus, right? So the song starts off with this line, right? And there's no singing. That's just the intro. And then you go to the first verse where he says, you know, concrete hands picked up the telephone ring, right? And then when you get to the first chorus, right, which is after you go through that first verse, you just go back to this intro part. And there's no singing. Right? Then the second time around, after you get to the, you know, the line where it says a stutter step you hear when you're falling down, you know, stutter step you hear when you're falling down. And then, so at this part, you go through this one time. And then he starts going into the time won't stop this crying. Now he sings that 3 times. Now, at the end of that part, we get to the bridge. So I'll go through this one slowly too. So the bridge starts, right, on this same exact G chord, right? And the way that it works is, here, I'll just play it first and then I'll tell you. Won't stop this crying. So that's the whole thing, right? He starts on this G note, right? So when you're going from the killing time won't stop this crying, the time won't stop this crying. So on the last one, you don't leave this chord. You stay here, and so the way it starts is you do this G, and you pick an open A, so and you go to an E minor, and you just kind of do one strum. So you do open, right, this G chord, A, open, then to the E minor, and in the same walk up we've done before, which is E2, E3, and then to an A7, and then to a C chord. And then when you get to the C chord, you strum it once, and you move this finger to the E, and you repeat this pattern. You do E, open A, E minor. So I'll play it slow, but that's the pattern. That's the whole. So here's what it's like slow. So he starts on. Now at this point, 2 strums, and then you do. And that's what, you know, it says, but I'm on the other line, right? And I can show that part. So it would be like, I'll just do the whole bridge. Start watching what message that you send out. No more situations only going to be kicked out. You got knocked down, leaving like you ran into a clothesline. And remembered a couple of words that in a crime you'll just fine, you'll be just fine. But I'm on the other line. So, as you can see how it kind of all flows together, right? I got one of the words wrong there, but whatever. So, and it can be tricky to sing over this little line right here. So instead, you, like I said, you could just strum it. And then after he says, I'm on the other line, he just goes right back into the killing time won't stop this crime. And then he does that line 3 times, and then the outro just continues playing this without the singing. Okay, that would conclude the regular version, the version that I play with all the melody. Now, real quick, I'll show you how you can play this. So there's a live version, there's a single live version that I found where he plays like basically like the backing guitar, right? Without the melody. And it's much easier to sing over, so I would actually recommend this one over the melody line one. I just like that one a little bit better. But the way that this one is the strumming's a lot different. It's much like more simple, right? So you start with the same chord. I'll just play through it. I'll play through the intro or the chorus, and then I'll show you the verse, because those are the only parts that are different. So here's just the verse. Oops. Okay, so that is the verse. So we'll go over it. It's just a C chord, and then you just put this G in the bass, right? So it's just E 3rd fret. You don't need to fret with your pinky anymore. It's just a regular C chord. And you do strum with the A, from the A, and then you strum from the E. And you go to the same chord from before. It's the E on the 2nd and G on the 2nd. And then he does this from the 3rd fret E, you slide from the 5th back. And then you strum 1 time. And that's the whole verse the whole chorus. Now, and I don't know why I keep mixing them up, but the verse is a bit different, right? I would say it's also a bit easier, right? Because this chord's a little bit tricky in the other one, right? So the way this one starts, we'll go into it from here. I'll just play it. So that's it, right? That's the whole different, like everything else about the song from the other one is the same. So you really, it's just for the verse and the chorus are just different, right? So we'll go over that one too. So when the verse starts, it is just a regular E minor. You strum it a few times. You do the same walk up we were doing before with the E 2nd to E 3rd. And when you go back to the E 2nd, you're playing a B7 with I don't know, this E on the 2nd in the bass. So it's just A 2nd, D 1st, and G 2nd, right? But then E is also 2nd at the top. So what that looks like, real slow. one strum on this open G, and then you go to the A7, and then when you go back to an E major, so it's not an E minor, back to the same one. So I'll do that real slow, right? So it starts E minor, walk up, down, then to G, and A7, and then E major. Walk up again to G, and that's the whole thing. And then you could just go back to the, right? So that's the whole song. Hope it wasn't too confusing. I definitely wanted to include both because I think that, you know, maybe this one is just a little bit easier to play and easier. It's definitely easier to sing over. Like if I was gonna sing it, maybe I would just pick this one because I don't have to worry about, you know, the melody line and just a little bit more, you know, moving around, moving parts. But yeah, I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy. I hope I didn't go too fast. I usually do. But, you know, thoughts are all scrambled when I'm doing these tutorials. But I appreciate it. So hope it helps. Take care.